training tomorrow in the morning, and I'm going to give you a short overview of what you can expect, or give you some kind of motivation why you would want to go to that training. So what can you do with it? What can you do with PySide, and what can you do with QML? You can create cool-looking desktop applications. So if you're looking for a way to create very interesting, very dynamic UIs for the desktop, for example, on your laptops or on computers, you can do that. And you can also create touch-friendly mobile apps, which is what QML is all about. So there's special support for doing things like scrollable lists, stuff like that, multi-touch support. All this is included in QML, and you can define the UI using some declarative language. So that's also very nice to use once you get used to it. And using PySide, you can access all of these features from Python. So you don't have to go to C++, which is the native language here. You can use it from Python directly. I said mobile apps for which devices? For example, one of these devices could be the N900, which has been out for some years now. MyMo, it's a Linux-based operating system, so you guys have an Excel around there, and it also supports Q and QML, of course, and it runs Python, so you can use Python on this device. You also have an Xterm, so if you feel the urgent need to do some Python coding, for example on the bus, you can just take it out and code something. Of course, it supports also PyGK. This device. Then there's the N950, which is a developer device. It also supports Python and QML. It doesn't support GK anymore, but you can do QML UIs with it. And there's the recently announced N9, which is also running the successor of MyMo. It's called EuroPython, which is basically a Debian-based mobile Linux distribution. Are there any other targets apart from these three devices? For Android, basically, Python supports already there, so you can have Python for Android, and Qt is already supported as well. The problem is just that nobody yet packaged PySide, basically put Python and Qt together on Android and make it so, but basically Python runs there, and Qt runs there, so it's just a matter of time that somebody takes these two parts, gets together, and then you can do PySide device on Android as well. And of course, Migo, which is Intel's mobile operating system platform. Migo is on TVs, IVI, that means in-vehicle entertainment, as far as I know. So it's devices in cars, handsets, tablets, netbooks, and so on. But of course, for Migo, there are no real devices on the market yet, but it's expected that at some point there will be. And then you can definitely run PySide and QML apps on these devices. Desktop platforms, macOS 10, Windows, Linux are supported. Of course, some of you uses any kind of BSD or some other weird operating system, or like non-mainstream operating system. As long as Qt runs on there, there's a good chance that PySide and QML will also run there. So basically, it should work for you. Now for some examples. This screenshot is not a QML app, but that's the old GTK or PyGK UI of Perl, which is a podcast client that I wrote. And for the new version, also for mobile devices and so on, I decided to take this UI. I took the same backend and just replaced the PyGK UI with the QML UI. And the result looks like that. So it's very touch-friendly, non-standard or non-classic user interface elements. It's designed for finger usage. It's made so that UI elements are big enough that you can use it on a small device. I can make a demo job on the device and also on your computer so they can see how it works in practice. And again, this is the backend is written in Python, and I'm reusing all the Python code that I wrote for the GTK application, just reusing that for the QML UI. So I just have to replace the UI basically. Another example is Panucci, which is a Futurama reference. I think I should mention this in Italy because there's some soccer player, I guess. Anyway, that's the GTK Plus UI, basically an audio and podcast player. And then somebody wrote a Qt UI that basically looks the same as the GTK UI. See, not much difference. That's using the Qt widgets UI elements. So that's not using QML, it's using Qt with all the classic UI elements you can use. So that looks like your standard desktop, your standard buttons, progress bars, checkboxes, drop-downs, all the stuff that you know from your normal desktop operating system. Then again, you can do your own QML UI. Like it looks at pretty, a developer has designed this UI, but if you can hire some kind of graphics magician, they can create great graphics for UI, and then it also works great on touch-based devices. Again, in this case, all three UIs, so PyGDK, the Qt UI with QWidgets, and the QML UI use the same Python backend to have the same code base, and depending on where you want your application to run, for example, on desktop, you might prefer some classic UI, and on mobile platforms or tablets, you might want to use the QML UI. Live demo. Let's see if this works. I'm just going to run this on my computer now. So that's a GTK UI. You see classic user interface elements. Very much information because I have the space on the screen. Scroll bars, complex menus, stuff like that. Menu bar, and then using the same code base, I just have a runtime switch that enables the QML UI. I can have the QML UI and a very fluent, very fast user interface. Of course, here there are some different requirements. For example, like cool animations. There's no right click because I don't really have a right mouse button with a touch UI, obviously. Cool animations. I can play videos. Play them full screen. All these transitions are mostly done inside the declarative UI. So I just define how the UI behaves. I don't have to take care about doing timers, doing stuff like moving elements around. I just anchor some elements at some points of the screen, and when it changes, then the UI changes it. Also do like audio, great animations. So most of this stuff already runs in QML. It does not need to call back to Python for most of the stuff except for data. So all the animations are fluid because they basically run inside C++ or native code. And just for the data and callback, stuff like that, for storing the data that I modified in the UI, I should call back into Python and do stuff. The other application that I showed is this audio player. That's a GTK UI, just plays stuff. And that's a Qt UI. It's basically the same QWidget-based UI. It's not using GTK, it's using Qt. But again, Qt on Ubuntu by default uses the GTK theming, so you don't really see a difference here. But it uses a different UI throughput, and then the QML stuff. Weird here. It's basically a big canvas, so you see the white border around here. You can have some cool lists. You can do about thing. You can have many animations, stuff like that. It works a bit different, and you can create very, very interesting UIs as long as you have either some kind of skills to do the graphics on your own, or you have some people who do graphics for you. Yeah. For example, what I can also do is prepare some small example, like a translucent window, which is also something you can do with Qt and QML. And some small QML code that basically shows some logo, which you will shortly see, and rotate it. So here I'm resetting the rotation and making it take a bit longer from Python. So there's a Python thread running, telling the QML, please restart your animation and increase the duration, and I print it to you out of the standard out. So that's something you can easily do, and you can see it's very fast because the rendering again is done on the C++ side. Okay, so I've got some code here. I've got an N50 here that I hooked up using USB, and it's using USB networking, so I can SSH to the device from my laptop. Okay, so I'm now connected to the device. I can now copy over the EuroPython logo and the translucent example to the device, SCD, no problem. SSH again into the device, have a look at what files are in there. I'm going to use the SSH connection to start the example here. And I'm switching to changes to here. It's basically running on the device, the same example without notifications. Sorry for the crappy quality, but I think you can kind of get a point of what's possible. And of course, I can, while the application is running full screen on the device, I can still see all the. I still have the SSH session on my laptop, so I can see all the debugging output on my computer, which is fine for doing full screen applications. It's very easy for debugging. And again, what I usually do when I develop, I just have some rsync set up, so that I develop on my laptop using a full-blown BIM. Then just rsync everything over, separate SSH terminal open, and then just run the example there. Of course, it does have VI installed, so I could just edit the code there on the device, either by SSH or by just using the device itself. It's kind of cumbersome, but it does work. And edit the code there and try it out. Of course, this also saves you from downloading several gigabytes of SDKs and emulators, stuff like that. You can just use your Python environment on your laptop, copy stuff over, try it on the device without any problems, which is quite nice. Okay, so I hope I got you interested. Still have lots of time, so we can show either some questions or some examples. I can try some that coding. Basically, what you should not forget, tomorrow in the morning from 9 to 13 o'clock in the Pizza Margherita room, there's this training session where we're going to kind of try out some of the examples, I get you started, how to develop these applications, how you can install everything is on this URL. So if you have been here for some days, you know that the internet connection is not that reliable, and it could be that depending on which OS you are using, that you have to download some stuff. So please check out the URL. If you can today, download the dependencies, there's instructions noted there. So basically it tells you download Qt if you are on OS 10 or Windows. It's optional for Windows because I have been told that the Qt binaries that you need for running these examples are already included in PySide binaries. On Linux, obviously, if you have a proper distribution that does dependency management, you obviously get all the things you need. Then you can get PySide for your platform. You can either use the binary package from Mac OS 10, Windows, or visit Ubuntu PK to get the latest version of PySide, because it's a very rather new project. If you have another distribution that doesn't have any binary packages, you can use the build script, which is basically just a set of scripts to build PySide from source, because there are some components like the binary script generator and so on. But there's a README file which instructs you how to do it. That's for PySide. Then you can note down some example code, for example, the PySide QML examples. You can also try out the cheaper code that I just demoed here. It's all open source and available in this Git repository. And there's more official PySide examples you should try out, which is not just QML, but also like the QWidget-based stuff, because PySide obviously also supports QWidget modules and other modules in Q. But for the training session, it's just PySide and QML, because I think that's what they're interested in for this training. And there's also for Market PK, if you want to have the Qt Mobility QML components, you need this, for example, for Perl. So what Qt Mobility QML components provide are, for example, the multimedia stuff. So by default, QML doesn't provide multimedia stuff like playing videos or playing audio. With the Qt Mobility QML components, you basically just say, I want to have some audio here or some video here. This is the URL of the file, either the local file or the URL, and QML will take care of loading the file and playing it there. You can then also set some properties. And if you want, we can try this out tomorrow as well. And there's a short EuroPython tutorial which basically explains the same stuff that we do here in text form. So if you want to be prepared for tomorrow and have many difficult questions, just get on this page. Again, the URL is listed here. And yeah, I think we can start with some questions. And if there's a lack of questions, I can do some demos. I will leave the URL up here, so just write it down the 2 minutes if you're interested in doing the training tomorrow.
Any question?
Earlier on, you mentioned writing programs for Android and running both Python and Qt on it, and was there not being packages and so on. But what's the status of Python on Android right now?
Python on Android already works. So there's the scripting layer for Android project, which basically adds support for all the scripting languages like Python, like JavaScript, some others. Ruby could be, yeah, this, stuff like that. It's to Android, but basically you don't have really any possibility of doing UIs. You can do stuff like dialogues or progress dialogue, stuff like that. And yeah, you can do HTML views and then communicate from your Python script to HTML view, but that's not something that you might want to do, and it's also probably not as slow as doing some other UI stuff. If you want to go to the Qt route, there's Qt already, which means that you can use C++ applications for Android with this Necessita support. It's already open here. Basically, Necessita is Qt for Android, and it also includes support for IDE. You can even use the Qt creator and debug your applications that's running, for example, in the Android emulator. And this stuff also works on the real Android devices. And the problem right now is that you can't use Qt and Python, but they're available separately. It's just a matter of time that someone basically takes care of combining PySide for Android using the NDK, and then getting stuff playing together with this Qt port. Does that answer the question, or any other questions?
There is some problem if I install PyQt. There is some problem, compatibility. I have installed PyQt on my PC, and I want to install PySide. There is some problem.
No, it shouldn't be a problem because they have different package needs.
Okay.
So the PySide packages are from PySide and stuff like that. And I think for PyQt it's from PyQt or something. You can't use, of course, you can't subclass PyQt object and like that. And there's also on the PySide wiki some instructions for porting PyQt code to PySide, because in PyQt, you, as far as I know, use PyQt signal, and then PySide is just signal. Like that. So minor differences.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah.
What do you think about the Nokia move on Windows Phone 7? I think that there's no future for Migo and so on. So what is the motivation about using this platform with this market which is divided in 3 pieces from Apple, Google with Android, and Microsoft with Nokia and so on in Windows Phone 7?
For me personally?
Yes.
Well, the thing is, that's the only platform right now where you can easily port between the mobile platform and, for example, your desktop machine. Because for iOS, as far as I know, you basically have to write your application from scratch using all the iOS things. And even if it's possible to port it, you would only have your application on macOS 10. You wouldn't be able to port your application to Windows or Linux. For Android, it's basically the same thing. It's using its very own custom UI stuff, which probably makes very good sense for a mobile application because there is some very cool life cycle stuff in there. But again, you can't really port your Android application to the desktop, or vice versa. You can't really take a desktop application and port it to Android. With this, you can easily create a Linux desktop application, and with some modifications, for example, you basically have to replace the UI most of the time, but everything else can stay the same. You can stay the same. So you have an X server on there. You have a normal shell. You can do SSH into it, which is kind of the thing that I think is interesting from the platform. Yeah, it's right. It's kind of sad that they are very different technologies. So maybe there's some other vendor coming up. I think there was a question.
Do you know of any efforts to make bindings for either PySide or PyQt to Python?
Again?
Bindings for PySide or PyQt or even some other GUI to PyPy.
PyPy? Oh, I'm not aware of any plans. I've been to the PyPy talk, which is just in the other room, and they said that they provide some support for Python C extensions. So yeah, it could be that it just works. I'm not sure. It would be interesting to try. But then again, most of the time spent in these GUI applications is probably just in the UI rendering, which is not by Qt anyway. They need to compile code, and you just do some application logic in your Python code most of the time, or reading data or something later on. So I'm not sure if that specific use case benefits from PyPy that much. But I'm not sure. I haven't tried it out, so it could be that it's really great, and we should try to get it there. I'm not aware of your plan.
I'm confused with QML. I heard before, I know a little bit, but I have my doubts that I heard that for the Qt version 5, and there will be a big change that you will have to do less programming, and you will use more scripting. I'm not sure if it was with the I heard that maybe you have to do more JavaScript, so I don't know if QML, not sure QML if it's the language that it's expected to replace or to be very important in version 5, or it's the JavaScript. I'm not sure.
From the architecture point of view, I'm not sure. Basically, Qt 5 to try to move, like right now with Qt 4, it's that even in QML you use most of the QWidget modules to render the stuff, QPaint and stuff like that. For Qt 5, as far as I understand it, they try to move to the Qt scene graph, which is basically taking advantage of all the hardware acceleration you get in recent hardware on desktop as well as mobile, and then put the QWidget stuff on top of that. So that for QML stuff, you basically run QML more or less directly without the overhead of the big Qt GUI module. Where's that now? And the question was if QML replaces everything, or
well, my question is, it's QML is the part of Qt that will become more important.
Yeah.
In version 5 Qt, because I get that there was going to be a big framework and they wanted to make this transition, and I heard okay, Qt script, Qt QML. I was not sure which one was the technology partner was going to.
I think QML, and if you've tried QML, as soon as you've tried it, you will see that it's very easy to carry yourself. So for UIs especially, it does get used to it. It does take some time getting used to it. So when you're coming with classical UI kind of paradigm where you instantiate buttons, then you set the text on buttons, then you do all kinds of different stuff. Just big chunks of code, just dealing with changing the UI and enabling buttons like that. It's just done in a very declarative way. And there's also, as far as I know, QML does the widgets. Sure, I'll find it right now. There's an effort going on, an experiment effort to provide desktop widgets for QML, so that you can write an application that just look at like a normal Q widget application using QML and using all the features of QML.
So let's thank Thomas for this decent talk.